Alright, back with a road trip video. Hopefully, as you saw in the intro, I did the remote start so you can see how long that takes. You see, it's not a very quick process, but we're gonna hit the road, driving from New Hampshire to Cape Cod. Gonna stop at an EA station along the way, and let's hope that we have success. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell that to stop. I don't think that's necessary, but I do it for my own. Come on, there we go. And again, I'm using the Grizzle E Extreme Edition. That's my charger at home. Since we did the pre-start, it's a little chilly this morning. It's supposed to warm up as the day goes on, but the seat warmer's on, the steering warmer's on. You can hear the heater running a little bit. I'm gonna end up turning that stuff off. Make it a little too hot. But I did that while it was plugged in so that would not really take from the battery to get all that stuff going. Use the power from the lines. So you can see we're at 100% state of charge right now. Let's see how we do. Comment in the box below if your Mach-E does this. It seems to be more prevalent when I use the remote start, but it's not exclusive to the remote start. Just getting in the car, just starting to roll here, and the trip meter already says that I did almost 18 miles.
In 800 feet,
I'm gonna stop,
turn left on
grab a coffee,
111.
so I'll turn the car off and back on. Hopefully that resets so we can get a good estimate for power consumption. I actually had a little time at this red light, so I turned off, opened the door, closed the door, turned it back on. Looks like it reset. A little bit of a brisk fall morning here. Like I said, it's supposed to warm up, probably get close to 70 degrees or so. Both up here in New Hampshire where I'm at and all the way down to the Cape where I'm going. So pretty consistent temperature. Morning starting off cold, just under 50 degrees. Got into the low 40s overnight, so the battery pack would have been nice and cool. That's why I preconditioned it before I left the house. Also, for reference, for this trip down, I'm going to give Whisper the go. Still got the one pedal drive on. Drive mode Whisper. I'm going to be using the Copilot Quasi Blue Cruise for the majority of highways. So, see what we get as we're moving along. Alright, interesting little error popped up. Had it in the cruise control, co-pilot, whatever they want to call it. Came to a stop. Got the notification on the screen that said parking brake engaged. Now, I did not touch this thing over here. But it wasn't on either. Now, as I'm getting on the highway, if I try to re-engage, and the sun's in my eyes, so hopefully you can see this. Comment below if you have this error as well. Ready? I'm going to go into Copilot mode, and it's telling me that the adaptive cruise not available. I've had this happen before. Didn't notice that parking brake thing before. Let me know.
Continue 31 miles on I-93.
Okay, I pulled over, got a coffee, I turned the car off. I was able to get the cruise control to reset, which also reset my trip meter again, but that's okay because I did reset trip 2 before we left the house. So far we're at 19 miles and 3 miles per kilowatt. Cruise control set, adaptive cruise, Blues Clues, whatever they want to call it, running. Going to be on the highway for at least 80 more miles. That's when we get to the first charging station. I chose this one in where was it? Plymouth, because it was the only fast charger between this one and where I'm going. I didn't want to go to a slow charger, so I'm gonna go to an EA station, get a fast charge, and see how we do. Okay, traveling down Interstate 93, getting close to Boston. Just starting to hit that heavy traffic. Probably be in this.
In 1 mile, keep right to I-93.
All the way through the city. Really, until we pop out the other side. So I don't have the Blue Cruise official update yet. You can see it just told me to put my hands on the wheel. But even with the co-pilot adaptive cruise, you can see it's stopping you. What's interesting on the highway is if you come to a complete stop, it will auto resume. If you're on just some normal side roads and in your neighborhood using it, you have to click the little X button over here to go again. But you see there it's saying auto resume. I don't need to do anything except keep my hands on the wheel. Oh, auto resume failed to resume at that point. So you can see with the adaptive cruise control, she's a finicky little bitch sometimes.
In 1/2 mile.
Alright guys, still rolling down 93, heading south. A little bit of a change of plans. I'm not going to stop at that EA station on my way down. I still got plenty of range. I can make it to my destination, do the things I need to do, and should be able to circle back to that
In 2
EA
miles,
station.
take exit 4 on the left for Massachusetts 24 south toward Brockton.
So we'll get this battery used up a little further and see how that state of charge goes later this evening when we actually charge up. While we're driving along here, figure I'll give a quick little check-in, see how we're doing on efficiency. So we're at 72% state of charge. Again, left the house with 100% state of charge. We've been on the road for a little bit here, probably about an hour and a half total in all the trips. Let's see what the trip meter says. An hour and 19 minutes. We've gone about 59 miles, which is probably more than anybody's average daily commute. You know, don't flame me in the comments. I know some people have long rides to work or whatever, but for a daily driver, 60 miles in one direction is probably more than adequate for most people. At this point, we're still holding at a 3.1 mile per kilowatt, which, if I do the math in my head, that would put us pretty much at the 211 EPA rating for the vehicle. So that's pretty good. I get that number because this is a select model, so it's only got the standard range battery, which is 68 kilowatts of usable energy. Now I know that's supposed to be increased a little with a software update that's coming, but if you take that 68 and you multiply it by how many miles per kilowatt hour you're getting, that equals your range.
This thing over here is just guessing, the old guessometer. I don't know how often that recalculates the math, but right now we're, like I said before, got plenty of range to get where I need to go, and I believe I got enough to even circle back and charge later when the battery's at a lower rate. Okay, we just passed, or just got to 50% state of charge. Got about 97 miles, 97, 98 when it actually clicked over. We've gone about 100 miles, so pretty close. Almost 100 miles remaining. Driven 100 miles, 50%. And we are still at, I don't know if you can see that, we're at 3.0, so exactly 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Had the heat on a little earlier, but not much. Not enough that it made any impact on the percentages here. External temperature, we're almost at that 70 degrees that was targeted for today. External temperatures had minimal impact as well. So doing pretty well on this road trip. Got about 30 or 40 miles left. Actually less than that. Let's see what we got. 17. I was way off. Anyhow, doing pretty well. So you can see, if you're planning a road trip, you got that range anxiety, you can let that go. Up almost to the Cape.
In half a mile, continue onto Massachusetts 28 South.
Almost to Falmouth, coming down from New Hampshire. Almost have enough battery remaining to theoretically turn around and make it all the way home. But anyhow, I'll probably I'll give one more video once I arrive to see where we end up at, and then for the ride back, see how it goes once we get to a charging station.
Continue on Massachusetts.
Okay, we've arrived at our destination. Got 88 miles estimated range remaining, 45% battery. The whole trip, including the stops and everything, it's about 112 miles. Averaged 3.1, really held that 3.1 the whole way. Even though it was highways, wasn't doing any excessive speeding. If it was a 65 mile per hour zone, I was maybe going 70, 74, 75 at times. But maintaining the flow of traffic. And again, that 3.1 would put us pretty close to what the EPA rating is. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go do what I got to do at this location. And then later today, we're going to travel up. We're going to go to, see if I could show you here. I'm going to go to the charging stations while this loads. Alright, so that's loaded. I'm looking for fast chargers, and I'm going to look for ones in network. Let's keep those ones going. My plan is to hit an Electrify America station. I'm gonna hit this one on the way home in Plymouth, 21 miles away. And again, we should have plenty of range for all that. Get the battery nice and drained, and see what we get for a rate of charge. Hopefully we don't run into any charging issues like we did in the previous video, but stay tuned. Okay, so after I got out of the car downloaded an update, so I am now on version 1.7.1, and with that comes
notes so you can draw or play tic-tac-toe while you're waiting for charging. If they improved the charging curve, you wouldn't need to sit here and doodle. And also I noticed in the navigation they have changed the layout. There's a couple different changes with icons and things of that nature. But now we're going to navigate to a charging station. We're at 45% state of charge, 89 miles. Okay, so according to this, we should arrive with 27% state of charge. It's approximately 28 miles. The guestometer has fallen to 88. Good enough. Alright, quick change of plans. I haven't left yet. I'm going to push it a little further. I'm going to go all the way to this charger in Braintree rather than the one that's closer. Let's drain this battery down.
Please drive to highlighted route.
According to this, we'll get there with 11%. Alright, a little bit of a change of plans. I'm going to push it even a little bit further than originally planned. So I was going to hit the charger closest to my location. Then I was going to hit one a little bit further away, and now I'm going to go as far as I can. There's an EA station, so you can see that teal blue line is the approximate range that the car can travel before running out of battery. It's odd shaped like that because that's the shoreline of Massachusetts. Down below is the Cape. So you can see we're getting pretty close to the top of that bubble. And that's where we're going to stop, charge up. Another quick little check-in. Got under 50 miles of range. The low battery warning came up at about that 26%. As far as our efficiency goes, on this total trip, including the time down, been driving for about 3 hours, 147 miles, still in that 3.0 range, so pretty good. It's warmed up. It's in the 70s. The sun is warming up the interior of the car a little bit, so I keep kicking the air conditioning on a little bit here and there, so you got a little bit of climate use. But on the way down, I had to kick on the heat in the beginning a little bit too. As far as what we're doing thus far on this leg of the trip, we've gone about 35 miles in almost an hour of driving, and we're at 2.8, so a little less than what the average on the way down was. We're still in whisper mode, still using the cruise control for the majority of the highway driving. Say hi to the Tesla. But yeah, efficiency still pretty good here. As you can see, we're estimating getting to the charging location with about 11-12 miles of range remaining, and according to the navigation, it's estimating a 5% state of charge once we arrive. All right, I'll check in at the charging station. Okay guys, so I got another EA horror story. As you can see, I'm in a parking garage with my blinkers on, and this was the best solution I had to get a little bit of charge, because I'm only at about 4 or 5%. So plugged in, it's not a DC fast charger, it's just a level 2. So we're getting 5.9. And the reason why is this ID4 here is not parked very well. And I really couldn't swing into this spot. Even if I could swing into this fucking spot, the EA stations, whatever you call the pump, is on a short cord and isn't going to reach the location of the Mach-E. So if I back in, I can't reach, and if I pull in forward, I can't reach. But even if I could reach, yeah. So literally, the only station I can pull into here is this one. I would be able to pull in forward, nose in, and I would be in this spot. But this ID4 got here before me. And this one, also unable to reach my charging port. But even if it could, unavailable. So I have not had much success with EA stations. I am not super thrilled. Okay, so I spent about 25 minutes on the level 2. Got about 2 kilowatts in that time. The ID4 that was here, she moved, so I have plugged in and it is charging. So I was able to get up to 13%, which should take us over that hump. Hopefully this 41 is going to increase. I'm going to stay plugged in. Need to go find a restroom and a bite to eat, so I'll be back. Alright, so I left, went and got some food, walked around, got the legs stretched. This thing never got up over 45 kilowatts. Again, I'm not a huge fan of EA. I'm gonna unplug. This will give me plenty of fuel to get home. Alright, so after all that,
Turn right on
stopped at about 68% state of charge. That's plenty to get me home. Now we're on our way. Alright, so as far as the range is going, just got in the car, haven't gone very far yet, but for total, we're at 182, and we're at 3.1 miles per kilowatt. The rest of the ride home is pretty much going to be heavy traffic, at least for the first half of it. So we'll see where we end up. A couple other little changes that came with the update that got downloaded today. This is this trip screen. You can see the buttons across the top. This trip 1, trip 2. They're slightly smaller than they were before. And in the where did my energy go? It now says driving rather than route. So we're past all that traffic for the most part. Maybe hit a little bit more as we get up here. Can't get over yet. So we're at almost a half hour drive in, 15 and a half miles. Still holding 3.1. That's really good. We're in whisper mode. We've been using the cruise control a lot.
going fast here and there, but nothing excessive. You can see right now I'm just going with the flow of traffic, even though it's 73 in a 65. Let's see what our trip 2 is looking like. Okay, so the total trip coming up on the 200-mile mark. Still holding 3.1. Alright, I figured I'd take a little detour, pull into one of these little touchless car washes. I would say most people should wash their car by hand if you really want it clean. But these little touchless joints aren't bad, just to knock that layer of dust off. Alright, coming up on the last part, pulling up at home now. Actually increased the average mile per kilowatt on this last almost 40 miles. So for a total, for the whole trip, we did 220 miles, and 3.1 is still the average. So it's pretty good. Basically, I think I added 54% from the EA station. We're at 48 now. So really only needed 6% more battery than what was available. It's not too bad. That headache that I had at the EA station might be an argument that could be made for the extended range battery, but I mean that's pretty good. The extended range battery for me would have been about a $7,000 difference, going from the Select with the technology package up to a premium all-wheel drive with the extended range, being that like $6,000 or $7,000 difference. So I would say my use case, no need for the extended range, but it's doing pretty good. It's a pretty good average overall for driving from New Hampshire to the Cape.